Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collingwood for YouTube, and I'm here to do a video by request. This video, or these series of videos, I should say, were requested by friend and fellow YouTuber Mark Gilman. Now, I did this video earlier, or yesterday, I should say, but I decided to reshoot it. I don't know why. So, huge shout out to Mark for requesting these series of videos. So, which character am I doing? Sam Loomis. Dr. Sam Loomis and Dr. Sam Loomis. Played by the original Dr. Sam Loomis, played by the late, great Donald Pleasance. And the other Sam Loomis, played by Malcolm McDowell. You know, there's a lot of similarities and there's a lot of differences. The one similarity right away, and some of this is going to repeat, but you will want to stick around for this, I promise you. The one similarities, I feel they're both loners. And yeah, I get Donald Pleasance's character had friends, but to me, he kept them at a distance. I mean, his Sam Loomis really kept it. The only two times we really see friends in Halloween is when Wynn's walking out with him, and what are they doing? They're arguing. Donald Pleasance's character is cutting a promo about Michael Myers' It's beautiful. That, my friends, is a wrestling. That's a wrestling promo in a Halloween movie. And considering John Carpenter is a wrestling fan, is that really a shock? No. So it's so beautiful too. He walked out of here last, you know. Or he's probably going, I'm wasting my time. Oh my god. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. So, he and Malcolm McDowell's Loomis, I feel they're both loners because the only other time you get friends with Donald Pleasance and Sam Loomis is again with Wynn. And it's Michael Myers pops up again in that conversation. So I feel outside of that, you don't really see much of Sam Loomis's friends because he doesn't seem to have the time for him. His life is solely dedicated to stopping the evil that is Michael Myers. With Malcolm McDowell, Sam Loomis, I felt he was a loner too because even though he does seemingly talk to the other doctors and friends, to me, okay, he's more dedicated to his work too, and I think that's a similarity there where they're both dedicated to their job. Now, one more than the other, obviously. Obviously, Donald Pleasance's Sam Loomis is more dedicated than Malcolm McDowell's. Because I don't feel Donald Pleasance's Sam Loomis is money driven, where Malcolm McDowell's Sam Loomis is money driven. He does write 2 books, and we hear about the first one in Rob Zombie's film, and we hear about the second one in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So he writes 2 books, and they make him money. Now, want to hear the weird similarity there? Donald Pleasance's Sam Loomis did write something about Michael Myers. He wrote a manuscript in Halloween 6. People often forget about this or overlook it in 6 because again, it's It's sort of early, really early in the film, and it's when Wynn's visiting uh, Donald Pleasance's Sam Loomis. So you really have to catch it what he says. I've buried the ghost in this man. Like he, what he's trying to tell Wynn is, I don't want to do this no more. I can't. I physically can't. You know, and Loomis has no time to go looking for someone to take up the mantle of Sam Loomis. And real quick, I don't feel Tommy Doyle was trying to take up the Loomis mantle. I feel Tommy Doyle had his own mantle. I think Paul Rudd doesn't get enough credit for that. But with that being said, I think and really, in fairness, would Loomis really expect someone to do it the way he did it? Could he really ask somebody to, for the rest of their life, to pursue Michael Myers? Think about that conversation for a second. What that would sound like, and the ludus, the insanity of the question itself. Like, it would just be crazy, right? It really would. Malcolm McDowell, Sam Loomis, he's not worried about fighting a predecessor. Not that necessarily Donald Pleasance was. I just don't. He didn't. Again, weight of the world here, or weight of Haddonfield, if you will. Weight of stopping a killer. I like the fact that Malcolm McDowell's character, we see him retire, and sorry I jumped around, but I'm gonna get back to that. When we first meet these two characters, like these two different Donald Pleasance's, Sam Loomis, and Malcolm McDowell's, there are some interesting differences. With Dr. Sam Loomis, we meet him in a car. It's raining, and he gives this speech. He's given this talk to Marrington Whittington, Nurse Marrington Whittington, about Michael Myers. Don't underestimate it. With when we see him after that, we see the suit, the tie, then the brown trench coat later on in John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween. With Malcolm McDowell's Dr. Sam Loomis, when we meet Malcolm McDowell's Dr. Sam Loomis, he's wearing these really cool shades, this sort of denim jacket. Good night. Good night, Soph. But he seems very Steve McQueen-like. Very cool, very calm. And I think the one big similarity, real quick, both Loomis's Donald Pleasance and Malcolm McDowell's Sam Loomis believe what they're saying. There would be no convincing, especially I'd say more Donald Pleasance, convincing them they were wrong. And especially about Michael Myers. So he talks to Malcolm McDowell's Dr. Sam Loomis talks to Deborah Myers, Michael's mother, about the pictures they found in Michael's locker about the dead animals, and he says this is leading to more darker and dangerous things. With that, do I think she ignored him because of the way he was dressed? No. I found his words very credible, and not because of who he is, but how he was talking to her. He was, hey, there's something going on with this kid. I just think she was a crappy mom and didn't listen to him. So now, the way these two characters retire is very different. We don't really see Loomis's retirement like a retirement thing. We sort of get that in 6. He's retired. It's been since 1989, since he was last employed, that we know of. With Rob Zombie, we see him retire. We see him just walk away. He tells Michael, "I've spent most of my life with you," and that's sad. I like how he's upfront with him. Look, obviously, I'm not going to tell you Malcolm McDowell's Sam Loomis is better, and I wasn't saying that in my other video. Donald Pleasance's Sam Loomis to me is better, hands down. But I think when another actor plays a character that someone else played, it's so hard to get like somebody who really went out of their way to try to do it a bit different. And I think Malcolm McDowell did do Loomis different, for the most part. Now, the trench coat, does Malcolm McDowell's Sam Loomis wear the trench coat? Yeah, later on in the movie, which I didn't mind that. We know that, look, that trench coat is legendary because Loomis is legendary. The one thing I'll say is, throughout 1 through 6, because Donald Pleasance, Sam Loomis, look, Donald Pleasance unfortunately passed away in 95. And so they killed off his character. They wrote off his character respectfully. They did not want to recast him, and I understand why. I mean, I could see why and understand why. That being said, they did that. Okay, Rob Zombie does Halloween. Malcolm McDowell's Sam Loomis, we see him for 2 films. They don't just write his character off in a neat way. They write it off. He gets killed brutally. We never, this is so tough to say. Because I love Donald Pleasance. I love Dr. Sam Loomis. I like Malcolm McDowell. I think his portrayal isn't necessarily bad. We never saw Donald Pleasance's Sam Loomis be 180'd. I don't think they ever changed that character to a degree where he was unrecognizable in his mannerisms or his actions. With Malcolm McDowell's, they did. To me, there was a big shift change between Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 with Dr. Sam Loomis, with Malcolm McDowell's Dr. Sam Loomis. There was never this big 180 character change that Donald Pleasance did with Dr. Loomis. And I think that's something that when you look at these characters, whose fault is that? I can't really, whose fault is it that Malcolm McDowell's character got 180'd? I don't know. Yeah, it was probably the studios in a lot of ways, because I find it odd that, when I watch the theatrical cut of Rob Zombie's Halloween, I don't feel ever really Malcolm McDowell's Loomis was an asshole. But yet somehow, in Halloween 2, it's like I'm watching this whole different other character. Like, what the fuck happened here? What changed? Because, and here's what I mean by this. If he was an big of an asshole as they perceived him to be in 2, why did he even bother coming to the town of Haddonfield in the first place in the first one? He was retired. He didn't have to go there. He wanted to sit, and I don't think he was wanting to save her to get some heroes were welcome. No. He did it because he gave a shit and he wanted to save this girl. He felt bad for somebody who he knew was out there. He didn't know where exactly in Haddonfield she was, or but Michael knew. Michael found. Oh God. But yeah, craziness. Doc. I feel that's the biggest issue with Malcolm McDowell siblings. They change his character so much it hurts the credibility of the character that I do feel he was building. Now, if Donald Pleasance is Sam Loomis, I don't feel that character ever got hurt by anything that was written through 1 through 6, and that includes 5. Um, I just think again the stories they did, I love them all. So I'll say this: would I like to see another Sam Loomis, but someone else play Sam Loomis again? No, no. I think they need to make a new character and go that route. But because I just think so much time has passed. A psychiatrist trying to stop his patient from murder and keep trying to stop him from murder in the town. Yeah, that would be. I just feel that right there is something that, again, it's been done in 1 through 6. It's been done in Rob Zombie's 2 Halloweens. That's 8 films it's been done in. You know, out of a franchise that has got a lot of installments to it. I think sometimes where there's times the Halloween franchise does not know how to move on from a character, a la Laurie Strode. But they seem content to move on with Sam Loomis. You know, even especially after Malcolm McDowell, they seem content on moving on from him. And here's what I'll say: it shouldn't take an actor's death for you to move on from a character. Just shouldn't. You should be able to write that character out respectfully and decently. To me, it shouldn't. And I'm not sitting here saying that Donald Pleasance shouldn't have been on all 6 films. I'm just saying that it shouldn't take an actor's death, or even, any act, for you to move on from their character. Move on. If you really want to move on from a character, then move on. If you don't, then just say we don't want to move on and continue to do those stories. So, obviously if he wouldn't have got sick, and passed away. I love everything about Donald Pleasance and Sam Loomis. What my final thoughts on this on Malcolm McDowell's? I think he did a good job in the first one, but again, something changed. Something really, really changed that caused this character to completely do a 180 and be a dick. And I hated that. I could not stand it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to get off here. You guys have a great night.